We've talked about the Wood Elves. We're soon to talk about the Skaven in a few hours here, but I really quickly want to go through Drycha and her campaign units. Now, I wasn't aware that we could actually show this yesterday, so I just wanted to do a real quick video on this and show them off. A number of other YouTubers have already done this, so please, if you get a chance, head on over to my friend Great Book of Grudges. He has a great channel that he's been doing a lot of awesome speculation. He's covered some of the landmarks and some of the new stuff added into the game. Lore Master of Sotek put it in his most recent stream, so please, please, please go and check out Great Book of Grudges and Lore Master of Sotek. Let's dive into this quick little look at all of Drycha's units in the campaign. These are campaign exclusive units. They are not going to be available unless you use a custom battle, but they'll be in your campaign nonetheless. And if you have not yet picked up the game, you can purchase it through my Nexus storefront. Nexus and Creative Assembly have a partnership, so they get keys directly from the source that they then give to you. You place them into Steam, and it gives a commission to the channel, so it's a great way to help support if you so wish to. Also, you do get the 10% discount from Steam applies to Nexus as well. But let's get into this quick dive on Drycha and all of her campaign units. We'll open up with one of the Elder Treemen, probably one of the ones that people have wanted to hear about the most. Coeddil, or I think it's actually pronounced Coeddil. I'm not really 100% sure, but I'm going to keep saying Coeddil because that's what I'm comfortable with saying. So here is the new unit for Drycha's campaign. Essentially, Coeddil will replace Ariel in her campaign. So whenever you do your ritual rebirth, you can now use Coeddil instead. And this guy is pretty beefy. He's got some pretty awesome stats. His unit model is not overly unique. I mean, for the most part, it's just simply an ancient treeman. But he has the same exact flavor text that we got from the Callard book when we read it in our lore video on Coeddil, linked in the upper right corner. This is pretty much word for word exactly how he was described, right? With these embers kind of falling off of him and his wood constantly alight in flame. It has that really cool aesthetic to him. And I think while it still is not a unique model, it's still a very interesting and cool model. So I'm all for it, especially considering he's not a legendary lord, he's a legendary hero. So taking a look here, for the most part, he has your standard ancient treeman stat line. He does get some other things like Unbreakable, which is right here. Each and every single one of Drycha's units is considered quote-unquote malevolent. And as a result, they have Frenzy. So he also has Frenzy. He gets Woodman. He causes terror. He is weak to fire, as you would imagine. He also has Vanguard deployment, which is a Drycha special. And he gets Sunder Armored as his attacks, which are just pretty beefy. So Coeddil himself, for replacing Ariel, is a really, really, really strong character. He again has Vanguard deployment, so he's going to be able to roll in the same way that a lot of Drycha's army will. He also has Muster of Malevolence, which is a cool direct damage ability here. We'll show this off at the very ending of the video, as long as just to kind of do a quick battle, and I'll show you how this looks and what the overall graphics are like. But he has a special magic kit. Now, just like Ariel, who has a custom magic kit, this is going to pull from dark magic and from beasts. So we get Wyson's Wild Form, Flock of Doom, Transformation of Cadon, a Power of Darkness, Word of Pain, and Doombolt. I think Ariel's magic kit is a little bit better here than Coeddil, but now you guys can finally actually see the Elder Treeman in the wood and the flesh, and you now have a good idea of what this guy looks like, his stat line, and everything. He is pretty beefy, 110 armor, 100 leadership, 70 melee attack, and 42 melee defense with AP and anti-large. Let's jump to some of the other units in Drycha's roster. Next up is our Malevolent Ancient Treeman. Now this guy is just going to look just pretty much like Coeddil, but just has that different look to him. Everything has this bluish purplish hue for Drycha, and this will just be repeated as a motif across all of her Forest Spirit units. And for the most part, there's nothing different here. You know, you're going to get the same exact kit as you would for an Ancient Treeman, but the exception being here that Frenzy is activated. You have your Foe Seeker, and then whatever lore of magic you so wish for this Ancient Treeman. Nothing else really of any kind of unique call out here, aside from the fact that this is how the character looks, which is way cooler than your standard Ancient Treeman. I'm not going to lie. I think it looks badass. Let's move over to another big tree in our next unit. Now, this is just the standard Treeman, the single entity unit that you can put in your army that is not a lord. This is the Malevolent Ancient Treeman, and he looks pretty sweet. I know that a lot of these units are not unique. They are just simply retextures, recolors, everything like that. I didn't expect them to be overly unique, to be totally honest. I mean, this is still the FLC portion of the quote-unquote DLC, so and we still have a convoluted idea of what is in the DLC and what is in the FLC. I'll be putting a video out on Friday when the final embargo lifts, showing you if you own this and this is the items that, or these are the things that you will get in the game. So that way you have a good idea of what you're going to be getting come December 3rd. But Malevolent Treeman, again, for the most part, exactly the same as a normal Treeman. You're just adding Frenzy into the mix, just as a kind of a refresher on what your Treeman has. You get your physical resistance bonus. You get your expert charge defense, AP, and magic damage. But here is your Malevolent Treeman. Let's jump over to two of the other remaining Tree Kin or Forest Spirits. Now, the Malevolent Tree Kin look absolutely hideous. They've added the accoutrement of some skulls to them, so they look, you know, even more malevolent. But again, for the most part, we're just simply going to be seeing Frenzy added to these guys, and it's the same overall shtick that we're going to be seeing for the next one with the Dryads. After we talk about the Dryads, we'll start to get into some more unique units from Drycha, but again, this is just to kind of show these ones off. We're going to have that charge defense against large foes. We're going to get the magic damage. Again, you have that physical resistance, shield breaker, mutapsychology, and woodsman. But these are your Malevolent Tree Kin. Our last forest spirit to talk about are the Malevolent Forest Dryads. Now, I am not as huge of a fan. I guess I have a little bit more of a gripe with these guys than I do everything else, because the Malevolent Dryads look too close to the Regiment of Renown, the Wraiths of the Frostheart, I believe is what they were called. And I just think that that's not as fun. The Frostheart guys have a little bit more white on their bark, but I would have really liked to have seen different types of Dryads. But we do still have some stuff we haven't gone into with that, so wait until Friday and we can discuss more about Forest Spirits and some fun stuff included with them. But you guessed it, these Malevolent Dryads have Frenzy. That is your big difference for all Malevolent Forest Spirits. Let's now talk about some unique things within Drycha's roster. Giant spiders. I mean, I have arachnophobia, but I'm not stoked on looking at these guys. They are not fun. Giant spiders, something that Drycha gets, good God. So these guys have woodsman, or I'm sorry, strider. They cause fear. Vanguard deployment. You're going to have some poison attacks coming out of them and some AP damage. Nice thing here is they also have a good speed at 78, with actually a decent amount of armor at 70 with 32 and 30 melee attack and defense respectively. So a nice little fast attack shock unit that can harass backlines and the such, with some good AP value attached onto these. You'll be able to use these pretty well throughout Drycha's campaign, especially considering where she starts on the map, which we'll get into again on Friday. We'll be doing a campaign stream as well as a campaign overview for Drycha. Be on the lookout for that in the coming days. Let's move over to some wolves though in Drycha's army. Drycha gets access to wolves, giant wolves. So Norskin ice wolves without the Norskin or the ice. So no frostbite. They have a nice coat about them. But for the most part, these are just going to be your fast attack, typical monstrous fast cavalry option, I guess you want to call them. It's hard to call a wolf cavalry. Now, they have 95 speed, so they'll be going pretty quick across the field with some Strider. Vanguard deployment as well. Remember, Vanguard is a big shtick for Drycha because that is the Forest Spirit way as far as what she's trying to hinge upon. So Vanguard will be a really big center part of who she is. We also get some nice missile resistance on these guys at 15%, also causing some fear as well, and some good melee attack at 26 with a low melee defense of 19 and an armor of 15. But for the most part here, outside of those units, we're going to have stuff like the cave bats, which are just your typical bats from vampire counts. No, nothing special here. Then you're also going to get access to great hawks, which are not a single entity. It's pretty much hawk riders without the rider portion of them, so there's no range portion attached on. And then lastly, you just get feral manticores. I didn't put them in any kind of cool special order, because for the most part, it's just kind of, hey, you also get these units. So what I'm going to do real quick now, we're going to take Coeddil, put him at the front. I didn't talk about Drycha because we discussed her in the video with the Wood Elves that we just put up, so you can take a look at that. But let's show you really quick. Start this battle. We'll have him charge ahead. Have him use this. Speed it up, and he'll just go plodding about to use his special bow. I want to quickly show this one off so you guys can at least see what it looks like. Come on, buddy. Be scary. Be spooky. And it just kind of does some quick damage. So, Muster of Malevolence doesn't have any kind of cool animation attached to it. It just kind of does some really quick damage to her. Causes a fair bit of damage too. I mean, that actually was like a souped up Spirit Leech. So just to give you a frame of reference on how much damage that it actually does. And that is the end of our video. I just wanted to quickly show off Drycha's campaign exclusive units because a lot of people were asking about them, so I wanted to kind of give them a fair spotlight and not have to wait until Friday to show them off. This way you have at least a teaser of what is coming in a Drycha campaign. Now, again, just to reiterate, like I've done before many times in this video, we will be doing a Drycha campaign streamed on the channel on Friday with some giveaways for the DLC. So if you want to tune in at around, I want to say 8 or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you'll be able to watch the stream of Drycha and hopefully win a key for the Twisted and the Twilight. Also, you'll be getting a campaign overview video, so if you don't want to watch the whole stream, you just want like a 15-20 minute primer on what the campaign is like, that video will be going up Friday around 7 or 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so you'll be able to get at least an idea of what's going on. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, all that kind of fun action. But let me know how you're feeling about Drycha. Remember, she is the FLC character, so what she has, for the most part, has been shoehorned to adapt to how her army is going to operate and function. So let me know what you think about her exclusive units. If you like the new Frenzy Malevolent option, or if you think it should have gone a different direction. Again, I do have to warn you that there are still some things to talk about for Drycha's campaign that will make some other stuff make a little bit more sense. But as always, have a good one and take care.